Wait. I'll tell you. It's Tetvav. You're right. So today is Tetvav Cheshvan, Tafshin Pei Daled, right? Tafshin Pei Daled.
Yeah.
And we're learning Messilat Yesharim. We're in chapter 9. Again, there's two characters we must work on. One is called Zehirut, which means to be paying attention, be aware. The opposite of Zehirut is habit or being drunk. In other words, you're not present, you're not in control. Then there's a second character is called Zrizut. Zrizut is the opposite of laziness. Zrizut is passion, excitement, movement, and the Ramchal with his great systematic, organized understanding built us a whole broke down the system, most complicated subject on how to get close to God. It's like you want to get up to you need to get up to somewhere very high. How are you going to get there? There's only one way to get there, is if you have a ladder. The ladder here is the stages and the steps, and he breaks everything down. If you have a very complicated situation, break it down to sub-subjects, break it down to small pieces and start working on one piece at a time. You'll get to what you want to do. And that's what the Ramchal did here. A person who has Zeirut and Zrizut is a person that is a tzaddik, a person that is really maximized his potential that God is expecting from every human being. To have these two characters. Zeirut, be really aware of your personality, be aware of your spiritual world, be conscious, make choices. And Zrizut is to go above nature, because as we know, we come from Adama. We're called Adam. We come from Adama. And there's gravity that pulls us down. There's a heavy pull. And in order to have Zrizut, excitement and passion, we have to tap into the Ish that's inside of us. Ish is the letters Esh. So we're Adam, which is Adama, but we're also Ish, which is Esh. We're also made up of fire. We also have in us this, we can uncover this flame, this fire, this excitement, this passion, but it's a lot of work. It's not simple. So Ramchal broke it down to 4 parts, the way he broke down every character to 4 parts. The whole book, it has 9 characters in this book, and he breaks it down to 4 parts. First is called Klal. Understand the overview. Don't go into any subject, Torah subject, or even general subject, without learning first the overview. Don't jump into learning Gemara. Okay, Abayas says this, Rava says that. Wait, do you know it all, what the concepts are? Do you know what the general ideas? Do you know the overview? Do you know the big picture? Do you know the... First you have to see the forest before you go into the trees. Klal, understand the big picture. Prat, now understand the details, what you need to do. It's not enough to know in general. Love your neighbor as yourself. What you don't want done unto you, don't do to the other. Everybody knows that famous statement. What you don't want done unto you, don't do to others. Wow, that's a big statement. What did the Hillel say to the convert? Ve'idach zil gmor. Now go and learn the details, how you apply this. So that's the prat. How do I apply the general, the vision, the big picture into the actual details? Then we go to stage 3, is kniyah. In other words, just because I know it doesn't mean I live it. I could know it, but it doesn't penetrate into my actions. How do you make it go from your thoughts, from your awareness, to your actual actions? The answer is kniyah, motivation. Motivation. It's not enough to know what to do. You need to motivate yourself to do it. Right? There's a book called Chafetz Chaim, and there's Shmirat HaLashon. Shmat Lashon tells you what to do, what not to do. And Chafetz Chaim is motivation, right? And then, and this is where we are today in chapter 9, which is the fourth part, the last part of Zrizut, is Hefsedim, which means maintenance and upkeep. Now, once you got it, you are Zariz. I'm just going to give you the big picture. There's two things that make you lose it. What are the two things that make you lose it? If you find you got Zrizut, you were so happy, you worked so hard, you got it. If you don't do maintenance and upkeep, you will lose it. What are the two things? One is let's read inside. So what are the things that make you lose the zrizut? Are anything that helps laziness to expand laziness. In other words, bakashat hamenucha gufani v'sinat haTorah v'avat haidunim b'shalmum kol tnaihem. When you're willing to pay any price, when all you want is to have this menucha, this relaxation, the pleasures, the physical pleasures, if that's your goal, then you will lose the zrizut. And the second one is, we'll talk about that, is fear. Zrizut is all about excitement and passion. What is the opposite? What makes you lose the excitement and passion is fear. Fear puts the damper, takes away all of the excitement out of everything. It makes you freeze. It makes you non-functional. But isn't fear good? God created fear. Isn't it good? You're right. And that's how the Ramchal will go into a long explanation of good fear and what's bad fear. So we're not just saying fear, never be afraid, erase fear. No, there's a place for fear. How do I know when it's good, when it's not? The Ramchal will explain. Okay? So that's basically the overview of the chapter, and now we'll start. Okay? So, in other words, like we said, laziness is a natural tendency. We all have it. It's built in. You don't have to work on it. It comes. It's instinctive. It comes automatic with when you're created. But you could develop it, right? You could develop it, or you could put it in its place, right? And you have to be careful not to let that happen. So, what's the first thing that makes the laziness expand and grow? Bakashat hamenucha gufanit, hating hard work. Ahavat haidunim, loving all the pleasures and luxuries of life. Betashlum kol tnahem, willing to pay any price. Again, it comes down to what we spoke about in the first chapter. What's your goal in life? If your goal in life, we said in the Western world, they say the goal is to have pleasure. So therefore, the moments of pleasure, you need to now drag it out. You need to eat 4 hours. You don't eat, you don't sit and have a meal. You eat for 4 hours. You don't, you're going to sleep. You need to sleep 15 hours. Whatever that, if you've set the goal as pleasures, and unfortunately in the Western world, the largest growing disease is depression. Because when you set your goal as pleasure, this world's not built for that. This world is built for work, for serving God. Pleasure is not the goal, it's the means. You need to have pleasure in order to function. You need to sleep 8 hours, you need to eat a healthy meal, you need to take care of your body. We're not against pleasures. We're against turning the means into the goal. It's a fine line. The pleasure is a need. It's the means. It helps you to serve God. But it's not the goal. It's not why you're in this world. You don't live to eat. You eat to live. Right? Very similar. So that's what we're saying is, what did you set as your goal in life? And therefore, the goal in life is not rest for the body at any price, and not the physical pleasures. And therefore, vaday tichbad alav avodah lifnei boro koved gadol, because anyone who sets this as the goal, of course it will be hard for you to serve God. If you want to eat, right? If now you're sitting to eat, and now this is the peak of your day, this is the peak of your life, so you need to now drag it out, and it needs to, right? And this is it. Open a table slowly, and then enjoy, and different foods and everything else. That's not what it's about. V'ima'en lalechet ki'im le'ito. Why should you rush anywhere? It's not fun to rush and go somewhere. Slowly drag it out, walk slowly. And this is v'kayotze bayadvarim ha'ele. Hinei yaksheh alav lashkim alav b'tei knisa b'boker. Part of the way that God built the mitzvahs was to really bring out of us this excitement, this passion. We spoke about that in the past classes. One of the techniques to getting excited is to actually act excited, run to go pray. And suddenly the starter it's like you're jump starting the car. You're running to go daven. You're not excited, but you're saying, but if your goal is physical pleasures, you'll never wake up early in the morning. It's cold, it's dark. Why would you get up early in the morning? Or why would you eat less time because you have mincha or mariv, right? Or latzet lidvar mitzvah, or you have a mitzvah or something. Kol sheken lidvar mitzvah, talmud Torah. ומי שמרגיל עצמו למנהגות האלה איננו אדון לעצמו לעשות ההפך שירצה. A person who gets used to this, you can't suddenly do the opposite. A lot of people say, when I need to, I can do it. It's not like that. If you're not training, you can't suddenly, like here, I know you're not a master to yourself. לעשות ההפך זה כשירצה. Right? Sometimes I have no choice. I'm doing something. I'm saving lives, so I can't eat, or I can't. A doctor, I'm operating on somebody. He can't say, sorry, I got to go eat now. I'll see you in 4 hours. The guy's in the middle of it operating, so you have to skip a meal. So you have to sometimes give up on some physical things. That's the reality. But a person thinks himself, no. If I want, anytime I want to, I'll be able to do it. It's not like that. I just heard a talk of a soldier who was down south on Simchas Torah when the terrorist attack or the war began. The soldier, he's a professional soldier. He heard the shooting. He came out with his pistol. He thought there was a terrorist or something. He comes out, looks. He sees 15 terrorists with RPGs, Kalashnikovs, dressed with helmets, and it's 10 minutes of him talking about what he did. You can't believe this guy killed 50 terrorists. And you have to understand, you have to shoot right in the middle of the head, because he started with the pistol, shot a terrorist, took the Kalashnikov from him, started killing other terrorists. The way he acted, saving lives, but it's all because he's 30 years old, and his whole life he's a police Yassam guy. Yassam? These guys were like, and because he was so trained, at one point he was driving, he was going to save his wife who was wounded, and he's driving, and he sees 60 terrorists standing on the side of the road, and he's in his van, and they start to shoot him, 200 bullets. He takes his gun, puts it on the window of the car, puts it on automatic, and starts to shoot while he's driving, taking out terrorists. This is something that, because he's working on automatic, because he trained so much. And he saved his wife, and it's an incredible, incredible story. I want to get it transcribed to put it with the English. It's like, you can't believe the heroism of this person.
You want to send it to me?
How could I get you to describe it?
You don't have to describe it. It could be in Hebrew. There's no problem.
I'll send it to you in Hebrew.
So I'm
have
on
some
WhatsApp
notes
with you.
that
I'm on WhatsApp with
translate
you.
for you.
I need to do it. If someone could help me do this, I would love to, because this needs to be sent out to the world. Incredible. We'll talk after the class.
I'm on WhatsApp.
Anyway, so this is the story, but what I'm trying to say is you cannot suddenly decide to do the opposite when you want to. You tell yourself, no. I could be lazy. I could do whatever I want. But when it comes to it, I'll be, I'll in the time of truth, I'll have this. No. You have to be training. You have to be doing it all the time. In other words, it becomes, what happens in your nature becomes the king. It's in our nature to be lazy. And we have no complaints. It's okay if you're lazy. It's okay that you're made that way. But you need to go above nature. It's hard. We're not saying that like you're a terrible person. Why am I so lazy? It's okay. We're all lazy. It's built in. You're made that way. And we have no complaints that's where you start. But we do have complaints if you accept yourself and say that this is who I am and that's it. Right? You cannot allow that laziness to be the king. You have to be the king. That nature of laziness becomes the king. Like we said, it becomes your second nature. Second nature is very hard to change. A person who smokes, Shalom. A person who smokes, you ask him, when he smokes, he's relaxed, he's happy, he thinks clear, he feels good. He doesn't smoke, he feels sick, and he doesn't feel good. So what's his nature? The answer is he created a new nature. His nature is to smoke. But he has to go through a difficult process to go back to that first nature of not wanting to smoke. Right? And that's difficult. And then if he smokes, he'll feel sick and dizzy and want to throw up. But if he doesn't smoke, when he doesn't smoke, he feels good. Right? So ze המפסיד הראשון. So the first thing that makes us lose it, we said, is defining the wrong goal for your life. What's your goal? Why are you in this world? To have pleasure? Oh no.
Let's go.